Hi, so I'm back again today with another video for Food Allergy Awareness Week, and today I want to talk about a super hot, controversial topic, and that is the allergen-free classroom. It's something that you may have encountered as a parent, particularly peanut-free or tree nut-free classroom, which means that the school will ask you to not send in any food during snack time that has these ingredients, peanuts, tree nuts, or whatever it may be. And this is just something that can be really divisive among parents because, parents don't want to feel limited and restricted in terms of what they can send in, and they feel like their rights are being infringed upon, which I can certainly understand. And so I thought maybe I could help clear the air a little bit to just explain exactly why this is happening more and more. And first, I just need to touch on just a few statistics to just help people understand better. So at the moment, or the latest data is suggesting that 1 in 13 kids have some type of food allergy. And so depending on your class size, you could probably have 1 or maybe 2 kids with food allergies in that class. I'm not saying that's every class everywhere, but that's the general incidence. But further on top of that is a lot of these kids have measures in place to keep them safer at school. And despite that, 1 in 5 of those kids has had a food allergy reaction at school, even with measures in place. That's the, just the going statistic. But here's the surprising thing, I think, is a study in Massachusetts schools found that actually half of those reactions, those food allergy reactions, are happening in the classroom, not the cafeteria. The cafeteria was, I think, 14% where they're actually eating food. So it's not half, it's like 45% in the classroom. That's shocking to me. Yeah, they're having snacks, but also just, what's going on? Is it always during snack time? What's happening? So with that in mind, I just wanted to explain exactly how a food allergy reaction can happen, because there's just this misunderstanding out there that you need to actually eat the food to experience the reaction, and actually that's just not the case. So this is why this measure is in place, is that kids are very messy, right? We all know they're sloppy eaters, especially young kids. They eat, if they don't wash their hands then go and touch every surface, or just all throughout the school. And so even with cleaning, extensive cleaning, food residues still remain on surfaces, especially peanut butter. There's a study about that. But also, it can depend on what they're using to clean the surface. Now, layer in on top of that adults even, but kids especially preschool-aged kids, touch their face often. The preschool-aged kids touch their face 40 times an hour. I can't make this up. So you may be thinking, well, so what? But this is like just the best way that I can explain it is, if your kid has come home and brought home the dreaded, nasty stomach virus or strep throat, any kind of illness that requires them to, touch something and not wash their hands, and then they touch their face or their mouth or their food, they are ingesting that virus. The same goes for food allergies. It can happen the exact same way. I can, touch a desk where somebody was eating some powdery Doritos, cheese Doritos, and then touch my food, or, scratch my face or something, especially my eyes, my nose, or my mouth. It's the same thing as eating it. And I know that sounds really extreme, but it only takes the smallest trace to trigger a life-threatening reaction. And so when you bring all this together, I'm sure you can understand why and how this can happen. And this is why the schools are the parents are begging for these accommodations, because if they're not in place, we could be dealing with a whole lot of allergic reactions. I can tell you my son has, I pick him up at school, hives. I get a call from the nurse, he's sneezing and his eyes are swollen just from touching something and then touching his face. No, we can't put our kids in a bubble, but we can sure give them a safe classroom, right? Where they should be able to focus on their work and not be distracted, and also just not have the emotional impact of having a major allergic reaction just at school, you know. It can happen anytime they're in school 180 days out of the year. That's stressful. So that's the best way that I can explain it. And while I'm on the topic, I thought I would just also bring up, you know, limiting food in the classroom in general. You're probably finding that also happening more and more, is that, you know, food-free birthday parties, sending in non-food goodie bags, non-food rewards or celebrations. You know, maybe for a reward, the kids can have an extra recess, or somebody could have a no homework pass. Kids love that. And especially the younger kids, they really do. They don't even notice, you know, if there's no birthday party at school with cupcakes. They, you know, they play a game or they bring in a book and everybody reads the book. These things make them happy, having an extra recess. So I know it's a different way to think about things. It definitely takes an adjustment. You know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s where, you know, just everything was about the food. But, you know, times are changing, and it is not meant in any way to, you know, spoil the fun or limit anybody or anything like that. It's really just so that we can send our kids to school without the constant calls from the nurse, or even worse, you know, ending up in the hospital. So I hope this video helps clear that up a little bit. I definitely read the comments, so if you have questions or you want to throw out your own story about things that have happened in your school, I would love to hear about it. Please share. Thank you again.